Fresh out of jail, fixed to pick up the kids. It's been almost 3 months. Here we go. Come on, Riggsy boy. There they are. Parker in London.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Stop licking me.
There, get down, baby. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm going.
Oh my gosh, look at y'all's hair. Handy. Hey, bud. Oh, how are you? Hey, buddy.
Have you lost pounds or lost pounds?
Actually, I've gained pounds up here.
Oh.
I got up to about 1,200 dips a day.
Wait,
I did an average of, I think, about 25,000 laps I walked while I was in jail. So,
holy shit, man.
I was a little pale. I looked like the color of your shirt when I got out, but I'm good now. I'm just so glad to see you. Okay. It's gonna be all right, kids. I promise. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go get set up.
Are you on your riding lake?
Oh yeah, same old place.
All right. Hi, everybody. Let me figure out why I'm not there. There we are. All right. Well, good morning. How is everyone? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. This little kitty and I are doing well, and he's really become accustomed to me. He's a little shy at first, and he may hop up in my lap occasionally, and I'll just kindly shoo him away. For the new people here, my name is Caleb Leverett. I am the father of Parker Hayden Blaine London, and I'm just a dad. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I just happen to have a YouTube channel with a video that went viral many years ago. Hence the reason I'm here talking today. A YouTuber named I always forget Kalang. I'm just going to say Kalang Nang. I probably mispronounced that, but that's okay because I'm not Vietnamese. But Vietnam had a YouTuber put out a video of mine, the old one, the old Parker movie, a clip, and it's gone viral. And it's kind of exciting on one hand that our story's getting out, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say unexciting, but I'm having to. The reason I'm making this is the creator pinned my comment on his video. It got over 1 million views within the first 24 hours, and the creator was kind enough to pin my comment. And I'm getting a lot of the same questions from the Vietnamese people who are just now finding it for the first time, as the Americans and English and Canadians have gotten for years. And it's hard enough to explain to people who speak English, much less to people who don't speak English. And there's just some questions that I cannot answer, and I'm going to basically talk about that a little bit and as to why. But before I get started, again, I'm in a northern Chicago area near the Wisconsin border, and I'm changing things up a bit. I'm not going to be. I've been watching other podcasters and how they do things, and trying to change them up to where I'm a little more mainstream, because I'm really old school. Again, I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I just happen to have a YouTube channel in a video that went viral many years ago, and I'm not very good at YouTubing, but I do enjoy it to some extent. Again, it's just I've been a mechanic my whole life, and I'm changing things up. So anyways, there are no more from here on out. I'm going to be trying to do these lives more often, and I'm not going to be monetizing the videos, so you don't have to watch commercials before pre-roll or mid-roll or post-roll or whatever. I am strictly dependent on the links in the description, where I've got Bitcoin links if you want to contribute that away, or a Cashapp link if you want to contribute that away. And some people, haters, love calling me a grifter, and that's okay, because I will address them too. Believe me, I'm perfectly capable and willing of addressing all my haters. Some people say that I give my haters way too much attention, and perhaps they're correct. I've got a reason for it. I've learned over the years that I'm not always right. In fact, I'm quite often wrong. And the only way that I become right is if I'm a little open-minded to certain ideas. I test those theories, and if it turns out I was wrong, then I'm happy to throw up my hands and say, yep, I was wrong. Case in point, I married the wrong woman one time. I actually married her twice, and I made 4 children with her, and that was a big mistake. It's not hatred of her by any means, though admittedly in the past it has been, but it's not hatred. It's simply pointing out the fact we were not compatible. And then when we got divorced and I got drugged through the Title 40 family courts, I made another catastrophic mistake, and I chose alcohol to cover up my problems, and I became a full-blown alcoholic, which I highly, highly, A, regret, and B, do not recommend. Since then, I've become sober. I've been sober about 5.5 years now. And then once I got sober, noticed I was still fat. So I've been a fat boy too. And when I make jokes about fat people, some people interpret that as me hating on fat people, and it is most certainly not the case. I used to be fat people, and now I make jokes about it primarily at myself, because I've learned that when I address my own shortcomings before everybody else, any potential critic can attack me for it. My defense and my way of handling my critics and my haters is to beat them to the punchline. I am fully aware that I'm my woman picker, my woman chooser is way off. Hence the reason I'm single. And I'm not saying that to announce to get women to come to me, because I'm not interested. I've reached a new point in my life where that was another mistake that I made. I became a simp when I was an alcoholic. I would give women far too much attention that was undeserved. And I've seen that become a growing problem. And the OF girls and the Instagram floozies and all these men giving these women who use deceptive manners of filters and prostitution in order to gain clout, and these simpy, weak, alcoholic, pencil-armed men giving them not only attention but money. Far too much attention and far too much money. And in my opinion, that is contributing to the society that stole my cheerings all those years ago. So anyways, that's a little intro about me. If you are so inclined and you want to chip in, great. If you're a hater and you want to call me a grifter, I'll address you as those comments come through. Also, I will say, speaking of grifting, I'm aware that there are lots and lots and lots of grifters, and perhaps you think I'm one of those people too, and that's okay. If you are poor, like as am I, do not send me money. In fact, I say this quite frequently. If you are poor and you are wondering where the rent money is going to come from, you're wondering where the milk money for your starving little brats is going to come from, do not send me money. It is paramount that you take care of yourself first and your family. It is not paramount that you take care of your little wieners down there if you're a simpy man and give all your money to OF floozies. And it is not imperative if you're a single mother or a woman or in general to send money to someone like me who seems to really need it, even though I do. But if you're a single mom or you're broke, otherwise broke, keep your money. Take care of you. Take care of your children first. That is paramount. So that being said, I'm going to play this little clip again. I did play it yesterday, but this clip is from that YouTuber I mentioned. Let's see, add that. It's only about a minute long. It's from Kalang Nang. And without further ado, here's a 1 minute clip of Kalang Nang, who is Vietnamese, apparently speaking Vietnamese, of which I'm not Vietnamese, so I don't know. I'm just taking Google Translate's word for it. And here goes, 1 minute.
Một người cha đã ly hôn vừa đưa 4 đứa con trở về gửi lại cho người mẹ. Sau khi thăm cuối tuần theo lịch trình, 3 trong 4 đứa trẻ đã vào nhà, nhưng cậu con trai 14 tuổi này nhất quyết từ chối rời khỏi xe. Mọi chuyện sau đó nhanh chóng vượt tầm kiểm soát khiến cho cảnh sát buộc phải can thiệp. Tôi không thể ép nó ra khỏi xe được. Con là con của mẹ mà. Không, bỏ ra. Tại sao? Vì con quá mệt mỏi khi cãi nhau với mẹ. Mẹ đâu có cãi nhau. Có, lúc nào mình cũng cãi nhau. Cả ông ấy nữa. Con quá mệt mỏi rồi. Làm ơn đừng ép con quay lại đây. Không phải lúc nào mình cũng cãi nhau. Có mà mẹ, con sẽ không ở đây đâu. Làm ơn đừng ép con. Và con không nghĩ con an toàn khi ở bên này. Tại sao? Vì mẹ từng đánh con trước đây. Mẹ sẽ đánh con nữa. Mẹ sẽ đánh đòn con lần nữa. Không phải đánh đòn, mẹ tát thẳng vào mặt con. Không, mẹ không làm vậy. Có mà, và mẹ còn bóp cổ. Mẹ đã bóp cổ bà ngoại và đẩy con vào tường trước đây. Mẹ và ông ta đã dồn con vào góc và con sẽ không quay lại bên này đâu. Dừng lại. Cút đi. Ban đầu cảnh sát đã xác nhận quyền của người mẹ trong việc đưa con trai ra khỏi xe. Tuy nhiên, khi người mẹ phản ứng dữ dội và cậu bé hoảng sợ, tình hình đã thay đổi. Để tránh leo thang căng thẳng, cảnh sát cho phép cậu bé được tự do rời đi cùng với cha của mình. Một người cha đã ly hôn vừa đưa 4 đứa con.
All right, so there is Kalang Nang's version in Vietnamese, talking about the Parker movie. And I was, again, I commented on him after he tagged me, or she, I don't even know if it's male or female. They tagged me, and I commented and said thank you. And again, at the time, I didn't know what language it was, and I found out later. But anyway, I was reading the comments, and people are thanking me, and inevitably, people are asking the same questions that a lot of Americans and English-speaking countries who've seen this for years keep asking me: is how's Parker, how's the kids? And I got to thinking about it. It's been a hard enough battle on my end explaining to the English speaking cultures on why I don't talk about the current private lives of my children. There's a whole level of difficulty crossing languages, but thankful for modern technology and translators for those that are interested who may be watching our story from Vietnam for the very first time. You can translate and find out our story. I'm just going to assume that everyone in Vietnam that's watching this or watching this later is brand new. So the American people who've been around forever, I noticed I see some of the people in the comments that I've known these people or known of them for years that I've been doing this. So my kid, here's my answer. My children are fine. They are grown. They have private lives, and I cannot and will not talk about their relationships with other people, including their mother and stepfather. Yes, I know how their relationships are for the most part. My boys and I are very close. We talk some more than others, but at times more often than others. But my boys and I are fine. It is no big secret that my daughter has not spoken to me in 5 years. And yes, as tragically sad as that is, I've learned to deal with it in my own way, and I'm not happy about it, but I can't really go into detail. And it's not that a judge has silenced me. It's not that I'm being threatened or anything like that. It's I simply choose not to divulge my children's personal, private lives because that's just not who I am. The Parker movie was uploaded in 2013, 12, almost 13 years ago. I never wanted to get YouTube famous, as I'm often uh, accused of. I admit when it did happen, it was a little overwhelming, and I was like, this is actually kind of cool. But, at the same time, the main reason I uploaded it um, was because of the Title 4D family courts that we have here in America. Apparently, and this is just according to Grok, and I use the E voice, who I do have patched in whenever if I may need her. I don't pretend to know anything about Vietnam culturally other than what I've learned recently. But apparently, their family courts are much, much more favorable to the family than our American courts. And for that, I do envy them. The divorce rate apparently in Vietnam is a fraction, a very small fraction compared to the divorce rate in the United States. According to Grok via Eve or Eve via Grok, it's about 6 to 7 times higher in America than it is over there. Apparently, over in Vietnam, single motherhood is highly discouraged. And I agree with that. I think it should be highly discouraged. And when people hear me say that, a lot of people, anyways, they inherently say, well, why are you hating on single moms? And my answer is, I'm not hating on single moms any more than I'm hating on anyone. As a follower of Jesus Christ, and I will add recent, but that's a whole different story I can talk about later. I'm not permitted to, or I'm commanded not to hate on anyone or hate anyone. However, I do hate certain behavior, as our Lord Jesus Christ himself did and has become quite famous for when he was flipping over tables. But that's a different story as well. I do criticize behavior in different groups of people, including the groups of which I am a member of myself. I criticize them highly, and it's not out of hate. When I say a fat joke, it is because I used to be fat, and I've learned that it's a terrible way to live because, let's face it, life is painful. It's just a lot more painful when you're sick. So I've just learned to get sober. I live a sober life. I've got a whole entire podcast called the Recovered Podcast, where I talk about being fully recovered from alcoholism. I've got a lot of hate from that perspective as well. Caleb, once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. I discovered that that phrase existed years ago, and I had no idea. I'd never heard that. Or if I did, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't use AA. I just simply used my own sheer will, I guess. But yeah, according to Grok, the divorce rate in America or in Vietnam is a fraction, like a tiny fraction of what it is over here. And in all of my endeavors, ultimately, what I've sought is truth. And I had to know, I still have to know, not that I've got it all figured out, but I've narrowed it down. What is wrong with the American society that it would justify our own governments to come after me and people like me and my children so hard? I didn't know what caused it. When this first happened, it blindsided me. And a lot of people think that, even Americans think that, well, your video came out in 2013. Y'all were divorced. You must have gotten divorced in 2013. No. No, we got divorced in 2007. It was a long time. And in that time, I got sued frequently. On average, about every other year, she sued me in family court, almost like clockwork. And every one of them hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm not saying I had everything figured out and I was always in the right back then, because I wasn't. I know I wasn't always in the right. But I do know this, in my opinion, I didn't deserve, nor did my children deserve what was happening to us. And I didn't understand why it was happening to us. Again, I don't claim to have been a perfect father. I promise you, I wasn't a perfect father, but I showed up. And again, in my opinion, I didn't deserve what happened to me. I was later, if you just watch the Parker movie, just so you know, and this is all documented on my channel, I was jailed for 60 days for what you saw in the Parker movie. No, it wasn't from lack of child support or anything like that, though child support is now a problem because I'm behind. I was not jailed for being behind on child support. I got accused of that, but I wasn't. And I've got the proof that you can see if you care to look it up. If you'll notice in Parker versus the Man, which is the second most popular video on my channel, towards the end, you'll see a montage of pictures of my children and I and things we had done up to that point. Because in Parker versus the Man, spoiler alert, that's when Parker was taken from me. That happened about 2.5 months after the original Parker movie. In those pictures, in that montage with the music going, by the way, which is from my friend Jordan Page, it's called The Message of Freedom. And in my opinion, it is a very beautiful song, and Jordan gave me permission to use it. You'll see a picture I took, and it's kind of hard to see. It's a little grainy, I'm not going to lie. But I remember getting accused of being a deadbeat dad, because back then it was really a hot topic. It's still pretty popular in America to just bash dads, but it's getting less and less popular. But back then it was really popular. If you were labeled a deadbeat dad, I mean, you were sunk. Whether it was true or not was completely irrelevant. And the picture that is kind of grainy is a picture that I took of a letter from the Office of the Attorney General's Child Support Division of Texas. Currently, that person is Ken Paxton, but back then it was, what's his name? The current governor, the current governor of Texas. Gosh, I know his name. I'm just drawing a blank. Let's just ask. That's the beauty of Grok and Eve. Let's just ask her. Speak. Hello, Eve. Are you there? Hello, Eve. Are you there?
Right here.
Eve, I'm having a brain fart at the moment. It's a silly question, nothing important. Who is the current governor of Texas?
Greg Abbott.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll chat with you in a bit. Thank you.
Anytime.
I just love Eve so much. Greg Abbott, who is the current governor of Texas, and I think he's running again for a third or fourth term. He'll be the longest sitting governor of Texas in Texas history, I think. Anyway, at the time, Greg Abbott was the attorney general. And if you are able to see it, again, I know it's kind of grainy, and that was just the technology at the time, but you'll see in that letter, in the date, which was the same date that the Parker movie went viral and was published, that it shows a zero balance, meaning I was current. I was not a deadbeat dad by their standards or my standards. In my opinion, I never have been a deadbeat dad, though I admittedly made mistakes. One being I was a drunk for a while. while I was raising my children. It doesn't mean I was drunk all the time while I had my kids and was slobbering drunk. I was what many call a functioning alcoholic. I could go to work the next day, and I did go to work the next day because I had no choice, because I was broke and I was being robbed in the family court. And when Parker was taken from me, he was moved 5.5 hours away to San Antonio. That was really tough. Driving to San Antonio twice a month for about 3 years, it got really, really tough and then really, really expensive, especially once I started driving my gas guzzling RV down there. So, anyways, if you want the proof, it is there. It is in my second most popular video called Parker versus the Man. Again, where Parker was stolen from me. You'll see the letter. It shows a zero balance at the time. And it is no big secret, obviously, that I eventually fell behind. In my opinion, I've got a valid excuse. In fact, in my opinion, I've got multiple valid excuses for why I've fallen behind. Most people that hate fathers don't want to hear my excuses. And to their credit, many single fathers are complete douchebags. I'm not going to lie. I'm fully aware that there are awful, awful men who have fathered children. My suggestion is, if I were you ladies, I wouldn't be sleeping with those men. Just me. I get called a hater for that, but how dare you? That's none of your business. Okay, well, then it's none of your damn business how I raise my kids. That's a two-way street. But yeah, I'm people call me a misogynist frequently, saying I hate on women. I don't. Admittedly, at one point I was at the lowest of low and rock bottom. Yeah, there was a brief period, and I've been open about this for years. Yeah, I did. I hated all women. I'm not proud of it. And again, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. So anyway, people, I've just noticed in the comments of the Vietnamese video, people are asking, how's Parker? How's his kid? They're asking the same questions, which is understandable. I see why people would want to ask. I see why people would want to know. But the short answer is they're all fine. A little extended version of the short answer is they're fine, and I cannot talk about their private lives, and I hope everyone understands why. I am curious as to the general interest in the Parker movie in Vietnam, and I don't know if it's for the effect of drama. Perhaps that YouTuber just simply saw a viral video that constantly goes viral and gets clicks, and maybe they just wanted the clicks and the drama, which, whatever. I'm not into the drama stuff. I try to de-drama my life. I'm not going to entertain people strictly for the drama effect by giving out secrets of my cheerings. I've never have been about that. But if they're genuinely interested in the differences in our cultures as far as divorce and how custody is handled, then I'm all about that, because that's all I've ever been all about. In my opinion, it's just a real shame. A real shame. Because again, I know that not all fathers are good fathers. They are just these little gnats. A lot of them are just sperm donors. I'm fully aware of that. And again, if I were you ladies, my recommendation is I wouldn't be sleeping with those guys, and I certainly wouldn't be making babies with those type of guys. Because who wants to willfully raise their children in a fatherless home? Yeah, I get it. Some of the far, far, far lefties are always going to say, well, I don't need no man, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you do. If you're a single mom, you've got young children, yeah, you do. You may not want to admit it, but you do. You do need the child's father. There's no one on earth more qualified to father and raise a child than his own father, with minor exceptions, regardless of how douchey he is. With minor exceptions, obviously, in the extreme cases where he really is a kitty diddler or something like that, obviously, that is not a good role model that you want raising your children. But that's, in my opinion, that's the exception. That's not the rule. Again, all the more reason why I think young women should be very, very careful in who they bang. Because if you accidentally make a baby with a kitty diddler, A, that's not a good role model for your child to be. And B, what in the world are you doing hanging around a kitty diddler and banging him? I'm just saying, we've all got to accept responsibility. And it's a lifelong running joke that women in general do not like to accept responsibility. And yes, I'll be the first to admit, I joke about it all the time because it's only funny because it's true. And that's not saying that I think that all women dodge accountability. Not saying that at all. Obviously, that's not true either. There obviously are plenty of women who do accept accountability for their own actions. But by and large, we all know that, at least to some degree, most of them don't. That's not even always a bad thing. That's just a characteristic. And for straight men like me, sometimes it's actually kind of cute. We can't speak for all men, but sometimes I find that just darling cute as a characteristic of some women. They want to just kind of squeeze out and get around accountability. And it's not me hating, it's actually me complimenting. There are certain attributes about women that distinctly make them different from men. That's why we like them. Unfortunately, when that pendulum goes too far and a bunch of feminists, both male and female feminists, start making the laws as they have in the United States, especially when they make family court laws, that's when it turns detrimental. That's when Title 4D laws that I harp on and on and on about, which are the root cause, in my opinion, of what happened to me and millions of others, single dads such as myself. The Title 4D laws are the root cause. Title 4D laws it's a law within the Social Security Act. It was passed in 1975. President Ford apparently signed it into law before I was even born. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I'm a Gen X. I was born in 1977 on Easter Sunday, no less. So, anyways, how y'all doing? By the way, if you do wind up chipping in, I will get a notification on my phone. And that's Francis. He died. I ran over him, and it's tragic, and I'm sad about it. Anyways, I'll get a notice, and you will get shout outs. If you do wind up chipping in via Bitcoin, I will get an email. It'll let me know. It doesn't say who it came from, but if you do want a shout out via that direction, just follow up with your own email and say, hey, I'm the guy that sent half a Bitcoin or 0.025 Bitcoin or whatever. Bitcoin's at roughly 92,000. Last time I checked this morning. I remember doing videos back in 2013 after Parker was taken from me. And I did mention Bitcoin in 2013. And back then, Bitcoin was like, I don't know, $100, $150, something like that. And people were, believe it or not, chipping in a quarter to half a Bitcoin at a time. I don't know if y'all follow Bitcoin now, but it's at 92,000. It's been as high as 126,000, I believe, back on October 6th of this year. It hasn't recovered. Many of us are looking forward to alt season if we ever get it. Hopefully that alt season starts really, really soon. The FOMC meeting is tomorrow, Rate cuts are expected by a quarter point tomorrow. Risk on assets are expected, hopefully, fingers crossed, to go up tomorrow, Isaac, because I really need it. Because you know what else happens tomorrow? Oh my goodness. I get to go back to court again. This isn't, as far as I know, her suing me this time, but it is the Title 4D family courts. Hello, Bakey. I'm glad you made it too. This isn't, as far as I know, her coming after me for enforcement. Perhaps it is. They're real secretive. I don't know who it is, but yeah. And now I've got to go. This will be my very first Zoom court. Back when I was growing up, because I'm old, when we got divorced, we had to go to real court. And you had to dress up and go into the court, and the judge would do the judge thing and take orders and apply the law, and either call you a great dad or a deadbeat dad, and either put you in jail like they did me or whatever. But now we have Zoom court, because apparently that's the way we're going. Apparently Zoom court got really popular during COVIDs, during the lockdowns. I would watch some of them myself. The judge that gave me primary custody of Parker's little brother, Blaine, which is its own series that's on this channel, Judge Sarah Kate Billingsley would do Zoom court during COVIDs, and it was kind of entertaining to watch. And somebody here was asking if hang on just one second. Hang on. Thank you, Dannon. Letting you know that there's an issue with YouTube live chat where moderators cannot see or access all comments for some reason. Some comments we can only read on your broadcast video. I don't know YouTube's changed a lot here lately. Like now they want you to, on my end, I see two screens. There's the handheld devices and then there's the regular. I don't know, Dan. I'm kind of winging it, but thanks for letting me know. Let's see. The comments on the broadcast are a blend of horizontal stream chat and short stream chat. Thank you, Van Les. You look really young, and I would trust your judgment on that simply because you look young. You probably understand this more than do I. So thanks. Anyways, where was I? I don't even remember what I was talking about. Title 4D courts. Oh, well. That was the whole point, was to thank the Vietnamese people for taking interest, and B, let them know when they ask these questions that you're asking the same questions that the English speakers have asked me for years, and B, the general answer is my children are fine, relatively speaking. Not going to lie and say it's been a cakewalk. In fact, there's a reason I'm being drugged. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Family court. I've got Zoom court tomorrow. So I have no idea who the judge will be. I seriously doubt it's Judge Billingsley, but I guess it's possible. It's just basically it's an enforcement. Oh yeah. And somebody was asking if there will be a live stream of it. I'm not going to live stream it. I'm already kind of on thin ice. I probably am legally in my rights to do so, but I'm just not going to do it. But if there is a stream that, like I was saying, I watched Judge Billingsley hold COVID's court during COVID's, or family court during COVID's. If it's available, it will be in what used to be the community post, the community section of my YouTube channel. I think now they call it the posts section. I don't know why, but it's the same thing. If that link exists, y'all can watch me on there if that's your thing. I get it, because again, I watched Judge Billingsley have family court during COVID. So some people like watching that stuff. I guess it was entertaining, because some people were humble, and some people would cuss the judge out and She would just say, okay, well, you're going to jail. So I hope I don't go to jail. I don't plan on going to jail. Fingers crossed I don't go to jail. I don't think I'm going to, but I've learned better than to just assume that I had the cat in the bag. Because whenever Parker was stolen from me, I just assumed, and if you watch Parker versus the Man, you'll know what I'm talking about. I just assumed that we had the cat in the bag. I mean, for crying out loud, I had my camera up. You plainly see Officer Brandon Spinks and Officer Rocha say, "You're free to go." It was just plain as day. I thought, okay, well, they said we could go, so we left. I got jailed for it. Was not that day I wasn't jailed, but Parker was taken from me. Fast forward about a year, I was jailed for that very thing. I was not jailed for child support or lack thereof. I was jailed here's what I was convicted of, for those wondering. I was convicted with 6 counts of civil contempt in civil court of not kicking my son, Parker, out of my truck. I was sentenced to 60 days per incident. That was 6 counts, meaning that day and 5 more weekends that I came, that while Parker lived with me, came and got the little kids, went and did our thing, brought the little kids back on Sunday, as I always did, because that's what I agreed to. That's what was in the orders. And they got out, the little ones. Parker didn't get out, but the little ones got out. That happened 6 times. And I was sentenced to 6 counts of 60 days apiece in jail for each count. That came out to 360 days. Fortunately, even though my lawyers didn't keep me out of jail like they promised, they did at least allow me to serve all 6 sentences concurrently. Therefore, it was a total of 60 days. It was like 4 days when I first went to jail, and then I appealed it and went to the district court, and then the next court, and then finally went to the Texas Supreme Court, and then that's where they finally said, nah, we've got more important things to, and I'm summarizing, we've got more important things than just 60 days in jail for a stupid dad like you. Shut up and quit bitching, Caleb. Go serve your 60 days. And so I had to go turn myself in a few months later because I couldn't afford to take it to the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court. So, yeah, anyway, I went and turned myself in and got humiliated. And that's where for those wondering, that's where I got the moniker, the Notorious DAD, the Notorious Dad, a black man by the name of Jarvis. I don't remember Jarvis's last name, but he and I became friends. And Jarvis gave me that name. And Jarvis he was hilarious. He's genuinely, you know how you meet some people that they're genuinely just funny. They're just funny. Some people you meet are just genuinely assholey or genuinely a crab. Some people are just genuinely naturally funny. Well, that was Jarvis. Jarvis is the blackest black man I've ever met in my life. That man was pitch tar black. And again, the funniest guy I've ever met in my life. By the time I was being let out, Jarvis and I had become buddies. And Jarvis he wasn't real tall, but he was jacked. Jarvis was like me now. Probably bigger than me now. I'm jacked, but Jarvis was jacked and nobody messed with Jarvis. And for some reason, Jarvis just liked me. And oddly enough, all the guards liked Jarvis. But if you're an asshole, Jarvis took care of business. So nobody messed with Jarvis. And I was just this young kid. I say kid, I was 30. But they found out, Jarvis basically found out why I was in jail. Because when you go to jail, it's inevitable. Everyone finds out, what are you in for? And if you're in for pretty much anything but kitty diddling, no one really cares. If you're in for kitty diddling, that's one good thing about U.S. and U.S. prisoners in particular, they take care of the kitty diddlers on their own. But they all found out that I was in jail for being a good dad. It started with our, I forget what you call it, our officer that took care of us. I never thought I'd forget his name. I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway, we got to go, Jarvis and I and a few others, we got to go do work duty, go pick up bullet shells at the range for the cops, or go repaint the old jail above the courthouse there in Ector County. But anyway, our officer, again, I can't believe I forgot his name. He's a nice man, actually. And he's the one that went home, and he had heard why I was in jail. And of course, nobody believed me. They're like, yeah, right. Shut up, Leverett. Nobody goes to jail for being a good dad. You're full of shit. Because nobody did. I declared it the first day I was there. What are you in for? I'm in here for being a good dad, damn it. I'm not even going to lie and try to blend in and say it's any other reason. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm in here for being a good dad, and they didn't believe me. Well, our officer in charge of us, the workers, he went home and watched my videos, and he came back and reported to Jarvis and a few others, said, hey, I saw it. No shit. Leverett, he's not bullshitting. He really doesn't deserve to be here. And when Jarvis found that out, he's kind of Jarvis again. He's a funny guy, but he's kind of the ringleader. Everyone just kind of respects Jarvis because he's big and he's hilarious and he's obnoxious. And so he was the one that kind of took me under his wing, and I don't know if he'd say protected me, but we just got along, and we played lots of gin rummy. We played lots and lots of cards. So towards the end, they're the ones, I don't remember who exactly, but it was either Jarvis and another guy, and I can't remember his name, but they started calling me the notorious DAD. It's a joke. If you're in Vietnam, I don't know if the notorious B.I.G. he was an old rapper here. I never was a big fan because I didn't know much about him. But anyway, he's a big time rapper, got shot or caught up with the Tupac stuff. And anyway, he's dead now, but he was a big time rapper here, and it was just a joke. So anyway, I was in a notorious DAD, the notorious dad. And that was because of Jarvis. Well, the last day I was in jail, fortunately for me, I had enough money to buy as much commissary. I maxed out on my commissary every week. But there's a lot of guys in there that had zero money, and it was life in the hole is a lot more miserable if you have no commissary. So I had maxed all my commissary out, and so I decided to have a poker tournament or a gin tournament. Cards. We're just playing cards, and there's the morning shift and the evening shift. A lot of the workers would work, in the mornings, and anyway, to give everybody an opportunity to get a little bit of the notorious dad's stash when he's leaving. Jarvis had the idea, or he and I both, I hosted a gin rummy competition. We had brackets, start playing, winner takes all, move up, etc. You get the idea. When I was let out, said, here you go, enjoy. Well, Jarvis grabs the toilet paper roll as this is all going on, and he's got it as his microphone, and he's talking to make-believe cameras as if he's a sportscaster and talking about this crazy-ass Leverett notorious dad and why he's hosting this competition inside of jail for his commissary when he got out. And obviously, I don't remember what all he said, but it was the funniest damn thing. The whole jail, they call it the fishbowl. There's like 30 of us in this big concrete glass, hard steel, loud, echoey room. That was our jail cell. There's 30 bunks, 30 men, disgusting, awful, miserable. There's 3 shitters. 2 are for shitting, 1's for piss. or 2 for piss, 1. I don't remember. You had to get shit in front of everybody. The water you drank came from the valve directly above the shitter. That's it. That's all the water you had. So if you want to go get a drink, you got to wait till the guy in front of you gets done taking a big, fat, nasty shit. Then you can go get some water. So anyway, Jarvis had the bright idea to be a pretend sportscaster and talk to a pretend camera and give real interviews as to, now, what brings you here to Leverett's poker game? What brings you here? And he went all the way around and interviewing everybody, and we're all just dying laughing. We're all playing cards in jail because in Ector County, when you get released, it's midnight 01. So I didn't get out until my date at midnight 01. So here it is, dark. Of course, we couldn't see anything because it was lights out or whatever, or maybe maybe it was lights out at 9. I don't remember, but anyway, it was late. They had the regular lights on, but anyway, you got a bunch of jailbirds in there playing cards and laughing their ass off at Jarvis. So much that all the guards kept coming by and watching us in the fishbowl. And of course, they came in, and Jarvis, being the go-to guy, kind of the liaison of he just kind of kept a pulse on the jail, and he would talk to the guards. And he explained to them what's going on, and they just could not believe what they were seeing. A room full of men who would otherwise never hang out with each other, laughing their ass off, playing cards to get Caleb's loot, and being thoroughly entertained by Jarvis. And for that, I will always be thankful for Jarvis, because he made my miserable time a lot less miserable just by being him. So, yeah, to the end, a couple of guys. What was really cool, before I get off, I'm going to get off at about an hour. What was really cool about it is 2 of the guys, there was, a morning card game and an evening card game. That way everybody got a chance at half of my loot, and the other half if they were off work. The guys that won, I remember knowing them. I can't remember them now, but I remember knowing them, and they had a little bit of commissary already. But what I thought was really cool is there were some really poor guys in there. What they're in for, I don't remember. I have no idea. Maybe they deserved to be there. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But they're really poor. And if you don't know a man's story and you see him shivering, because they keep it like 60 degrees or 55 degrees, it's really, really cold in there. I assume they do that to keep us docile, because when you're cold, you don't act up. But what was really cool is the guys that won, they already had a significant amount of commissary. And you know what they wound up doing? They gave it to the poor men, the ones that didn't have any commissary at all. So really, I guess that was the outcome that I would hope would have happened, and it did happen. So really, competing was kind of dumb or pointless. Maybe not dumb, but pointless, because the overall reaction was the poor guy got the commissary. I don't know. I just always thought it was a cool story, because those prison guards watching the fishbowl, if I remember correctly, to that date, they had never seen a room full of jailbirds laughing while in jail. And for 24 hours, I guess that's one claim that I contribute just a little bit of happiness to a bunch of jailbirds. Again, maybe there's some more people like me didn't deserve it. Maybe they did deserve it. I don't know. I wasn't there to judge, and it doesn't even matter anymore. But I'll always be thankful for old Jarvis, and sometimes I wonder how the man's doing. And if by chance Jarvis ever sees this, I hope he reaches out. And again, our backgrounds are completely different. We probably never would hang out in real life, although maybe, I don't know. So yeah. Anyways, Wow, there's not a lot of view. It's significantly lower during the mornings. Um, that's part of also what I'm looking for is people who understand YouTube better. Apparently, you've got to go regularly and consistently. Um, I don't think I ever used to go live in early mornings, so it's usually in the evenings. But I don't know. Hello, Dorian. Yeah, Dannon, it is. I like it. I've just always thought it's kind of cool. Sadly, I have to go now. Keep us posted if you can. We'll continue to pray for you guys. Thanks so much. Ms. Bakey, what is the difference between jail and prison? Basically, the way it's funded. Jails are usually funded by the county. Prisons are either state prisons funded by the state, individual state, or federal prisons, which are, I guess, technically also funded by the states and our taxes, but it's distributed through the federal government. Generally, if you're in a state prison, that's where all the capital murder peoples are. That's where the violent criminals are. In Texas, they call them gladiator farms because it's a bunch of what they call blue collar people, people that physically attacked people, women, children, whatever. If you're in federal prison, that's what they call white collar. That's the Lehman. That's where the Lehman Brothers officials, if y'all are old enough to remember, in the GFC back in 2008 when Lehman Brothers crashed, all the people with suits, they didn't necessarily, or at least they didn't get caught for that. They're not in for attacking people. There's a word that I'm obviously avoiding because I don't want to get, I don't know. I'm not monetized anyway. I've got to get used to that. So yeah, for assaulting people, they're not in there for that. They're in there for white collar crimes, stealing millions of dollars, being shysters, swindlers. So that's generally the difference. Some people call it diet jail. If you're in a federal prison, you get to sometimes have your own room or at least only have one bunkmate. Some of them have phone privileges. They can have a cell phone or video games. Where I was, according to Jarvis had been in and out of all kinds of prisons, state, federal, local. He's just a career criminal. I mean, it's just the truth. He'd been in a lot of. That's how I know what all this is. He's the one that told me. But according to Jarvis, some small counties, jails he'd been in, he said they're really laid back. But apparently, Ector County, Texas, sucks. And he said it was right up there with some of the gladiator farms because there was a lot of fights. I saw several myself. Now, sometimes they would try to kind of start rioting and being obnoxious where I was, and I never participated because I just want to do my time and get out. And they would come in and they'd intimidate us, and I never saw it, but some of the guys said in some of the cell blocks they went into, they would actually, fire the beanbag guns and stuff like that. I never saw that part, but I did see a few people get beat the F up. One was a kitty diddler. And it's true what they say. Sometimes the guards are in on it, probably more often than not, just conveniently leave a door ajar that was supposed to isolate the kitty diddler from the rest of the crew. And they beat the brakes off that guy. It's kind of, it's hard to watch because they're really merciless. And I don't remember what happened that particular incident, but a lot of them don't really get punished for it. At the same time, if he is in fact a kitty diddler and you know it, you're like, tough shit, dude. take your ass whipping. That's just, I guess you'll stop diddling kids now, won't you? So anyway, coming up on the 1 hour, we just crossed it. Any new favorite shows right now? Not really. I've been finally busy working here. I quit paying for my subscriptions. I've only got one at the moment. What's it called? Prime. I've got Prime at the moment. I don't have Netflix or HBO or I don't have any of the ones I used to have. So anyways, I'm going to get off here. If there is a link and I can find it, it will be posted in the posts section of this channel, formerly known as community section. And I've got that tomorrow at, I believe, 1:30 Central Time for those that care to watch. I don't know why people want to watch it, but maybe they do. Anyway, I'll let you know if I'm not in jail, you'll be the first to hear me. I'll get on here tomorrow. Also, if you're in the crypto like me, tomorrow's FOMC meeting, and Big Daddy Powell is expected to cut by 1/4 point. So hopefully that pumps my bags and it'll help me get out of family court debt. So anyway, y'all take care, and I will chat with y'all tomorrow or the next day.